Welcome everybody to anticipated releases for the month of September. My name is Nick, and I'm going to be doing this one solo because honestly this isn't really that big of a month. I think I got only a handful of games to talk about this time, and this time I'm going to try to keep it concise because not too many of them that I'm excited about, but there is a couple big ones that I think are definitely worth talking about. So let's get started. I'm going to be talking about Shin Megami Tensei 5 as the first one, and this, I always have to talk about the Persona series when I relate it to this game series because Persona came from Shin Megami Tensei. Both are Atlas game series, but Shin Megami Tensei kind of got overshadowed by the Persona series, which is kind of funny, the fact that the original game, the one that everybody's got to thank for being there for Persona to happen, is not the popular franchise. But anyway, Persona was a little bit of a happy accident to a degree, where people didn't expect it to be as big as it was. But Persona 5 really did kind of bring the spark of Persona and bring that series into the limelight. And people are hoping the same thing for Shin Megami Tensei 5. But there's a couple of differences when you're going to be comparing these series for sure. So I'm going to use 3 different RPG series to give you guys a little bit of a baseline on how these games work. And this is going to be a big jump when it comes down to these first 2 games. The first one is going to be Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is very lighthearted and very upbeat. You have some dark events happen here and there, but for the main part, the main setting of the game is usually, people would say, on the happier side. Persona, you're running into some people who do more terrible things that are you can't look at them the same way for doing. I think that's the nice way to say it, if there is a nice way to say it. But if you want to take a step even darker, that's where you get to Shin Megami Tensei. So Persona, especially if you play the Persona 4 and Persona 5, it's more about using your human relationships, using the connections on your journey, being able to strengthen your party, learn more about the people who you're with, more kind of about that relationship and friendship setting. To the opposite degree, Shin Megami Tensei is more rejecting your humanity, using these demons and summoning demons, pretty much to survive and, to kill even worse demons. It's more like fighting fire with fire. It's fighting evil with more evil, not like Persona where it's just you're using good to fight evil. So the reason I have Dragon Quest in there is too is Dragon Quest, very lighthearted, very happy-go-lucky. Then you get to Persona, more darker, more terrible enemies. Then to Shin Megami Tensei, evil demons fighting evil demons, pretty much. So it's definitely on the dark side if you're looking for a game series like that. People are really hoping, because of the fact that Persona 5 also caught that treatment where Persona was that breath of life into the series. Unfortunately, I actually read something recently where Persona 6 won't have the same director, so maybe the Persona series goes in a different direction. I hope not. I really like Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5, so I hope that it doesn't go in the same in a different direction. I really like those games. A little on the long end, but whatever. But looping this back over to Shin Megami Tensei, it's nice to see that this game series at least is getting some attention from Atlas. The most recent game that we talked about on the channel, I believe Mike talked about it, was Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, which was the remake of 3. That's kind of a placeholder before Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out. It seems like they're taking their time when it came down to this game for sure, because they weren't releasing a lot of information on it. It was seems like they were hard at work on it, which is a good thing, because sometimes the more announcements that come out, maybe you find flaws, or people they tweak the direction that they're trying to go based on maybe some comments that happened. But either way, if this doesn't get people into the Shin Megami Tensei series, I don't know what will. That kind of resurgence that came from Persona within I believe since 2017, and got it into the spotlight. I think that's pretty much this is the chance for people to quote unquote discover the series and to really bring this up to the kind of Persona levels. I'm skeptical it'll get to the Persona levels because I think the Persona games have a little more widespread mass appeal, but if there is going to be a time when the Shin Megami Tensei series would make that leap, this would be around the time that it would do it. So if it gets the Persona 5 treatment, I think that's awesome. If not, it's not going to be the end of the world. People who really like the Shin Megami Tensei series will still really like the Shin Megami Tensei series. So if you like stuff about like the setting, especially like the enemy design, I would say it's definitely worth checking out. I am considering getting it at the moment. I think it looks pretty cool. So that's Shin Megami Tensei 5. The next one is more of one that you expect to be mentioned every now and then, and this is Call of Duty Vanguard. Call of Duty is definitely an annual release franchise. I mean, let's face it, they gotta get their money. But this one, the divisiveness comes in the fact that Vanguard is all about World War II. If you're thinking to yourself, oh, World War II, no FPS game has ever done that before, I think you're thinking like 90% of the people that I've seen the trailer, because a lot of people think similarly. They think World War II, seen it before, don't care about it, whatever. I'm not going to be playing that one. But it's a Call of Duty game, let's face it. It's going to be getting a lot of sales. It's going to have those battle passes, those gun camos. It's going to have everything that you'd expect from a COD game up to this point. Modern Warfare, the remake that I think is Modern Warfare 2019, did fairly well, especially in the gameplay style. They saw a lot of good things with that one. The next one was Black Ops, a little bit of a step back. Not as many people liked Black Ops Cold War, but it seems like they're taking a step back towards the Modern Warfare style when it comes down to this. Game. And in the same vein, because we all know everybody's huge Warzone players out here, obviously Battle Royale all the way. Sorry about that. That was embarrassing on my part. They're going to be doing some Vanguard integration into Warzone, and if you do play Warzone, it's going to be very similar to the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, where you got your weapons, operators, camos, battle pass, whatever. A lot of the stuff, like if you've seen it happen for Black Ops Cold War, it's not going to be any different for Vanguard. It's going to be more of the same, if anything. I mean, I believe Warzone is still the most popular Battle Royale now. Maybe it's Apex. I don't know off the top of my head. But either way, they're going to try to find some kind of way to link the games together. So, if you are somebody who likes the Call of Duty franchise, it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, I'm not a huge person that plays a lot of Call of Duty games. A lot of people, especially like people on the channel, I know Travis is one that really likes the campaigns when it comes down to these games. A World War II campaign, I don't think you'd be as excited for, because World War II just happened in like 2017, I think was that COD game. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be the most excited people will get for a COD game. If you look at a lot of the people who are talking about it, they're keeping their expectations pretty damn low for a reason. But hey, it's a COD game. You know it's going to be selling well no matter what kind of backlash there's going to be. So, but either way, the game that actually overshadowed that announcement was Battlefield 2042. And I'm going to tell a little story about my buddy Adam. My buddy Adam is a friend of mine from college, and he adored Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 was his game. Like, when I was growing up, like, I had like Mario Kart Wii and Guitar Hero 3. Battlefield 4 was his game. Like, in between classes that we would have, he would go and he'd play Battlefield 4. Like, that was his game. It was his, I don't even know if it was a stress relief, because every single time he was like completely leaned over in the chair staring at the TV. That was his game, and he loved it to death. But unfortunately, the other Battlefield games that came after that never really gave the same feeling, I would say. Especially when you would actually relate it to some of the other franchises that were doing better at the time, I would say. Like, I think Halo, maybe Halo was a little past this time. I think when he would be playing Battlefield 4, that was around Reach. I don't know that timeline exactly, but Halo, I think, was doing better at the time, and I believe Call of Duty was doing better at the time. But Battlefield 2042 seems to be getting damn close to what he's been wanting, and my buddy Adam was wanting in a Battlefield game for a long, long time. I remember when we were playing some stuff recently, he's just like, oh yeah, Battlefield 2042, that is the game that I hope gives me scratches the Battlefield itch that I've been waiting for years. So, hoping it does well. The cinematic of the game actually looks fantastic, but again, I think we've learned by now you can't trust a cinematic alone. You gotta make sure to look at gameplay, you gotta make sure to check a lot of things. But on the bright side, the beta for the game, it did fairly well. There wasn't a ton else to say, because, like, I mean, I'm guessing you're going to get the same stuff that you're going to get with Call of Duty, with a lot of the ways they try to monetize the game. But gameplay-wise, and at least from from like the core of the game, it looked really, really good. And a lot of these people that really aren't that excited about Vanguard actually are excited about Battlefield 2042. The other thing that's really worth noting is this is made by DICE. DICE is one of those game companies that's, I know that it was a little shaky when it came down to Star Wars, the new Star Wars Battlefront 2, but really the core of the DICE like the DICE FPS games have always been fairly solid. So if you're looking for an FPS game, especially one that will be very much, I'm sure this game's going to be huge when it comes out, I would check this one out. And then you got Halo the next month, so I'm sure you're going to be able to compare the three big juggernauts of the FPS genre, see which one is the best. I'm not a big FPS player. I don't know if that even happens, but I'm just going to say it because it sounds like fun, being able to see which one is has the biggest bragging rights, at least for this year. So I'm happy for it. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of enjoyment had for the people who've been diehard fans of the Battlefield series, but because my buddy Adam, I feel like it's worth talking about because I'm sure it's going to be a big release. The last release that I'm going to talk about, I know, surprising, right? Already almost here, but it's going to be Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the Pokemon games. Pokemon's been a little wishy-washy, I would say. I think it's kind of easy to say. Recently, the Pokemon series has gone through a couple maybe rough spots. Let's just take a step back to the Directs. The 2 Directs ago for the Pokemon Directs, why did they even have it? They announced like Pokemon Home and Pokemon Sleep, I believe, were like the ones that they announced. And why? I feel like that by itself is not something that warrants an actual like presentation, but whatever. They made their own choices. But this one at least is a remake of a mainline game. So this one at least has a lot more people who are excited about it. The consensus that I've heard, especially from actually talking to another friend of mine, this was a while ago, but a buddy of mine that I would play Smash Bros. With, Max, his twin brother Jordan, die-hard Pokemon fan. And he told me that, especially if you're talking to a Pokemon fan, they would say that Heart Gold and Soul Silver is probably the best Pokemon game. So the remake of Gen 2. I remember playing the remake of Gen 3, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and thinking that it wasn't too fantastic. So when you're looking at the remakes, you have amazing, best of the series, and pretty lackluster. I'm hoping that this one is not on the lackluster side. It's more on the other side. And there's a couple things that make me think that it's going to be leaning in the direction of it being a good remake. One of the reasons is because of a lot of the implemented features that were on the Nintendo DS is going to be around in some degree in this game. So when it came from the Game Boy Advance into the DS era, the DS, Gen 4 in general for Pokemon, had a lot of cool implementations from the DS that allowed you to do some unique things. I mean, even stuff like checking the Pokemon without having to pull up your menu. Being able to like check on their health bars or whatnot. I believe you could do some underground stuff with it. Maybe you could play with your Pokemon. I don't know about that one for sure. But there was a lot of cool implementation that was made with that kind of like the PokeWatch. I don't think that's the actual name for it. But there's a lot of cool stuff that was done in that way. So a couple of other things that they're adding that I think are great quality of life improvements is, I think everybody knows HM moves are stupid. And they're allowing you, it looks like, to use HM moves without actually having a Pokemon know the move, so it's not taking up a move slot. You'll just have to have a Pokemon in your party that can learn the move, and then it'll be able to do the move. And I think if that's the case, that is amazing. The HM moves kind of peaked around Gen 3 and 4 where they had like 8 of them, and then they kind of been declining ever since. Like Gen 6 had 5 of them, and then Gen 7 Sun and Moon didn't even have HM moves, which I think is the right way to do it, because let's face it, in a game that's all about making sure that has limited options for Pokemon moves, like you only have 4 moves, and you want to make sure that those moves are the best moves they can learn, why do you want to waste that with an HM move slot? It's like, it's kind of backwards logic. You want to make your Pokemon the best that it can be, but it's going to be held back by this move that you have to move around from place to place. I think it was a cool idea at the time, but I think HM moves are kind of outdated, and I like the fact that the Pokemon series is moving away from that. So that's a good thing to see. The other thing that I want to mention when it comes down to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is it's kind of unique if you look at the art style of the game. It definitely has more of a chibi-like aesthetic especially when you're looking at the characters. One of the things that I thought was hysterical when I was I think I was on Twitter, that people are talking about Chibi Cynthia because they haven't seen that yet. I think that's a really cool thing to see, and I can't wait to see people talk about or at least like show pictures of that, or at least the memes that come out for that as well. There's a lot of cool things that I can't wait to see how people receive this game, because I think this is definitely on lines of it being a better remake, especially better than Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I'm definitely hoping it goes in that vein. The other thing that I believe is worth mentioning as well is I think that there's a kind of a Poke Park kind of place where you can actually play with your Pokemon. I also like that idea as well because it kind of gives you the idea of just running around with your Pokemon and actually enjoying them. I think that's something that a lot of the mainline games always kind of would advertise and didn't really give you the option to do, like running around and building up like friendship points or something like, or trust points with them. And I think it's cool that they're giving a way to do that. So Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl I think is leaning towards something that I would be closer to getting, because I didn't really play a lot of Gen 4. And this is when I know that people would say, a lot of people say that the Gen 4 and Gen 5, the DS era Pokemon games, is where it kind of peaked. But I don't know that for sure. So this is a release that I know is going to be met with a lot of criticism, especially because of a lot of the decisions the Pokemon Company has made recently. They are, Game Freak, they haven't been the most, I don't want to say positive, they haven't been the most universally liked choices when it's come down to the series. But either way, if you're a fan of the mainline games, I think this would be one that is worth looking into. But anyway, that's going to be doing it for me. Again, not a huge month. I think these are ones that are definitely worth talking about because they are fairly big releases. But I do want to know what you guys think. There were a couple of games that are on there that I thought about talking about, but I was like, I don't really have a ton to say about this game. But much of a lighter month. I'm hoping that December will be better. I kind of took a peek at the games. I don't have a ton of faith that it will. Look at me being cynical right here. But I am happy that a couple of these games are going to be being announced. And let's face it, not every month has to be a huge month. Maybe it's a month that you knock off some more stuff off your backlog. Hey, I've been doing a good job of that recently. But yeah, let us know what you think. Comment section below for let us know if there's any games that you're excited about. Otherwise, yeah, that's all I got. Have a great day, everybody.